Hello, welcome back to ABI-DOS. Last episode we started doing the signal normalizer, and I had a good idea, but we have no idea how to actually make that happen just yet. The main issue being, well, I need to first explain the idea. The idea of what we want is to have it such that the initial object is held for 7 and will be continuously added 7 for, well, it says 7 here, which is why I say 7, but for n turns, basically, for n loops, and there'll be an addition of n loops worth of numbers of n out inputs, I guess, and then afterwards that will be sent outwards. So that's 7 and it starts getting sent outwards. The main idea of this is that because we want to average out the last 7 items, we take the first 7 items, average it out. I didn't average it here, but it would be pretty easy to average it out, just dividing by certain value here. This value will not be consistent because it's given by whatever comes out of this, but we can always set this to right onto this, so it's fine. Yeah, in fact I can do that right now by simply having this where this is written up twice. So yeah, this will write the number 7 here. Oh, 24. It should be the other way around. It should be this first, right here before being changed. But you get the general idea. So for every n outputs, it will divide by n to average it out. It will subtract the first output, which is why I'm duplicating here. I'm saving this n value. And then it will duplicate it. It will subtract this initial first value. And then it will add the next value in. So basically removing the first and adding on the next one. And then it will remove the second and on the next one, and remove the third and on the next one. And so you always consistently have the sum of the last n inputs, which you can then divide by n to give you your output. So that was the main gimmick of this idea. Of course, we have a lot of things to work on. Firstly, how do we hold the initial n outputs here so that they can be later subtracted from this? And my idea is a loop. So I want to create a loop that does this. I'm going to create a loop that does this, and what happens is that this will always be held in a loop, and hopefully the timing works out so that you get a consistent number of so that, you know, here obviously it's not going to work out. You get pretty close, you get 3 different items, but hopefully a loop can exist that holds up to 8 items. And so how I'm thinking of doing that is, well, a few things. To be able to hold, say, 8 items here, we know that a loop has some number of cycles. In this case it's 6, so it takes 6 cycles to go around a loop, meaning that every 6 cycles something will go around once, right? Here it takes 1, 2, 3 steps to get from here to here. Is that true? I feel like it's not. Yeah, it's a little bit weird. It's more like they'll become 2 apart and then they'll start adding up. If I could alter this starting point, then that would be really nice, but I don't think I can. I can by arranging this loop. So we're gonna have to do quite a lot of math here. What I'm trying to figure out right now is to see if I can have the ability to calculate based on, you know, our number over here, what is the optimal loop size here to hold 7 or 8 items in this case, because we have a maximum value of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we will have to hold 8 items basically in this loop. And holding 8 items is possible in a loop of 8. In a loop of 8. However, this will require quite precise timing. Now I want to go to a different save so I can test this out. Actually, you know what? Let's try doing something else. Let's delete this. Let's go to the sandbox because I haven't used that. Let's see what the sandbox can help me do. Alright, so what do we want to test out? Let's get rid of this. Let's use an export to first. Actually, no, this first thing can come out already. Alright, so what we wanted to do is we wanted to show this. We wanted to be able to calculate a loop value that will hold 8 items. And so with the setup we had a loop that looks like this and will trigger approximately once every cycle as well. So this is once every 4. This is supposed to take one full loop from this position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It'll take 10. I'm not entirely sure how that might work, but alright, let's test this out first. Let's get rid of the extra stuff so we can test this out. They won't add. Okay, so let's move this over so that they'll merge. Just so we don't have to worry about weird things happening here. We always have one thing on this loop at any time. Alright, let's see if this holds. See, this holds them opposite each other, meaning that you get one every half loop, but that means that they will merge basically perfectly. I don't want that. I want them to be further apart. So what if we added one space? They're still the same. Why? Why does it not matter what this length is? If so, does it then matter what this length is? It does, yes. Look at, oh geez, okay. It matters what this length is, however, that affects here. So we need to do some weird stuff. Does this merge well? No, it does not merge well. Alright, well, I think it only merges well every 4, length of 4, so I have to stretch this out to a length of 4 as well. But, oh, this is perfect. Wow, a perfect addition. Okay, so clearly some math is going on here, but I really can't figure out why. So I guess we return our first question as to why this is perfectly halved every time despite the length taken from here to here. I guess the reason why is we can say it takes from here to the next time something comes out is 4, right? Actually, yeah, hold on. This is 4. And it takes 1, 2, 3. Also, it also takes 4 to get from here to here. And we want that property to hold because we want the merging to occur, right? It works the same in our other machine where we want the merge to occur. So it will take the same number of cycles as one round around this loop, as well as one from here to here. Which therefore means that whatever the loop cycle is will just be that value. An object will come out once every loop cycle. Haha. And therefore, as long as we can make sure that this value is some value, this loop will always take... Okay, so if this is a loop of 4, this will always be a loop of 8. Okay, understandable. Which is why you get things that come out every 4 rounds, around 4 steps around the loop. You get extra stuff coming in every 4 steps. Makes sense. If I change it to a cycle of 6, then you get 1 every 4, which because of a loop of 6, you get 1 on the 4th, 1 on the 2nd and the next, and 1 on the 6th afterwards. So you get 1 extra thing on the 4th cycle. You get 1 extra thing on the 2nd cycle, and then 1 extra thing on the 6th cycle, which is why you get a merge every 3 of these. However, we want to optimize this for as few merges as possible. The reason why you get merges is because these loop values are co-prime. Therefore, you can sort of think of it as they have some some common denominator that isn't 1. So in this case of the 8 and 4, the common denominator is 4. Both loop sizes are divisible by 4, and therefore every you basically get 1 every 4 loops. For a loop size of 2, for a common divisor of 2, which is in the case of 6 and 4, you get 2. You get 1 every 2 basically. So here you get 1 extra thing every 2. So I guess we can say that if they have a common denominator of some value, like x, then you'll get 1 object every x turns. But we don't want that, do we? We want to get 1 object per turn, basically. We want to make sure they are staggered out enough to be able to do that, right? But there comes a problem, because I'm pretty sure every loop must have a size of an even number. Any loop at all, yeah, because if you change the size of a loop, if I made it, say, a 10, if I made it like this, I'm always going to have to add 1 length to each side of this rectangle. I don't know the exact proof, but I think if I think about it intuitively, for any loop size, right? Let's say we have a loop size that looks something like this. It's always possible to form back into a rectangle by basically moving segments around. And every time you move a segment around, you're basically subtracting an even number of length. So intuitively, I would expect every loop to be an even number, which doesn't work for us because even numbers always have common denominators of 2. So regardless of how you define this, you'll always get weird things. So this can hold a lot of things. In fact, if I get a big enough loop, 2, 4, 6, 7, you can hold 7 things. And this comes out because this loop I think is a length of 14. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, which is 7 times 2. So it needs to be, firstly, having a divisor of 2, a common denominator of 2 with 4. So 14 can't divide by 4, so the next best is 2. And it also needs to have a minimum length that can hold 7 items, right? It needs to be 14. If it held less than 14, then those things would merge. So we can make this work by having it be able to hold 8 items and yet still not have a multiple of 4 with this 4. Or I can just make the length 4 times 8. I can just make it a length of 32 and it will definitely hold 8 separate items, one every 4 turns. But to make it easier, right, so 7 times 4 will be 28, right? I could have made the loop 28 and it will hold 7 items. But we know 14 holds 7 items as well because 14 and 4 do not have a common denominator of 4. So if we had 1 every 2, it would first need a length of it would generally need a for objects to have a distance of 2 in between each object. To hold 8 items, we need at least 16. But because 16 and 4 have a common denominator of 4, we can't do that. We need a length of 18. So let's create a length of 18 by first using our length of 4 here. Then we can add 2 extra lengths like this. So this is a length of 18. And here you can see that eventually you will hold 8 items. Wait, one more. 8 items, like that. So yes, it also eventually hold 8 items. It's big. I'm pretty sure you can make it smaller. You can make it a 3x6 rectangle, I believe. You can make it a 3x6 rectangle that just looks like this. This is 18. However, this is still really big. So what I am thinking of doing is not using even numbers. I want to make it an odd number. But how do I do that? An obstructor. An obstructor, now that I think about it, can hold an item for 1 turn, thereby changing the length of the object, not by an even number, but by exactly 1. So an object here will be held for 1 before being released. You get a slight offset from the next one. You can therefore hold these things. Look at that. Now the issue is of course that this will cause mergers like out of nowhere. I'm pretty sure this will occur at any point in time as long as they have 2 consecutive items, which is why I think there might be an issue here. Yeah, that'll definitely be an issue here, which is why I don't think this works. Okay, now that I don't think this works, let's go back to the initial idea of holding 8 items. How will we expand this idea? I'm gonna shift this up here because I think I'll need space. I think I'll need space to separate this out. Basically what you can see here is that I'm having this crossroad here right now. This conveyor will cause the things to go in a loop, right? But if I disabled it by double clicking, that is no longer there, and therefore you actually get this kind of weird cross. And I think that might be a problem. Oh, there isn't. Wow, there really isn't a problem. I already thought that because these are 2 apart, right, you might eventually get something that merges with this and this. So like over a long enough period of time, but apparently that doesn't happen. I guess because every time something comes out, like this comes out, it will leave a gap of 4 between this and this. And that gap of 4 will perfectly be able to hold the next thing that comes in. Ooh, alright, this worked more cleanly than I thought. So, okay, which means that after a certain amount of time, so say after 8 things are held, right? We'll have gone through 4 cycles. After 8 things are held, we can maybe have held this for 32 cycles. But of course it takes... we need to do a lot more math here. we want 8 things to be held in here first, before that first thing comes back. Alright, so... Alright, so... we want to hold this for... let's try 31, because it moves 1 step and then it's held for 31. So will 31 be able to supply this with 8 items first? 8? Is this too much? No, this is exactly 8. Exactly 8. 2, 4, 6. Oh, this holds 9 items. Ooh. Okay, I also don't want this B sensor to activate the export. Let's just move it aside. Okay, so after a while, this B sensor will activate this, and you'll start having outputs. And yeah, actually, nothing comes out until like this has gone in 8 times. Can we have a +1 here to just check how many cycles it's gone through? So 1 cycle, 2 cycles, 3 cycles, 4 cycles, 5, 6, 7, 8. It gets released on the 8th entryway. Now, if you remember what this did, this basically gets added 8 times, right? Let's actually see how many times it gets added in. It gets 1 value, 2 values, 3 values, 4 values, 5 values, 6 values, 7 values, 8 values. It gets its 9th value before the subtraction occurs. The subtraction should occur earlier. So let's cut this down by 4, because each loop is 4, right? So let's cut this down by 4 and make it 27. I think that's 31 minus 4. So it'll be held for 7, meaning it will gain 8 values. Let's start again. Well, first value, second value, third value, fourth value, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th value. It gets its 8th value. This will start coming outwards. Of course, I need this to be... it needs to be permanent, right? So it's permanent. It has to be permanent first, because this is a one-time... that was a one-time conveyor. Anyway, once the 8th item has been drawn, this will now be able to move forward. And perhaps write a subtractor up here on its value. Yes, so let's say I made this... let's get rid of the -1. So let's say I made this equal... let's just make it equal a big number so I can figure it out. Let's make it 50. So all of these will be 50. When they get subtracted, they'll subtract 50 from here, which will tell us exactly what's going on. So eventually it'll start subtracting 50, right? Yes. And then it'll get subtracted 50 again. And it'll get subtracted 50 again, which is good. We want a consistent subtraction every loop. And of course, we can always add this here. Now there is a problem, right? Because if this were to occur, the loop will suddenly change in value. Now I'm wondering if that makes an issue. If that could result in an issue. Because now if I set this to... whoa. What? Oh, okay, this is an issue also. Oops, this accidentally goes in the wrong direction. Okay, we can maybe change that. Ooh, we cannot change that. Man, okay. Let's see, how do I change this loop? I need to make it go downwards, basically. I need to make this loop like... see, that's the problem. I need to make this loop... I need to make this loop like further away. I can't... this thing is so close to here that the loop basically can't do anything about it. I guess is my main issue. So I guess the next thing I can do is make the two things fall away from each other. If this took 4 extra steps, if it's held for 3 extra turns, plus the 1 turn it takes to get there, the same will happen for this conveyor down here, will be held for 3 extra turns as well. I think the same thing might occur, but we are able to have some space over here now. This will go this way. Yeah. Oh, but this would have to be added to this would have 3 added to it as well. So this would be 30 now. Because this has to also account for the 4. Oh, this is 31. You know, that might actually work out for us, this extra 4 cycles. Because 31 is more related to the value of 32 than 27 is. So I don't need to do as many weird calculations. And everything should still be the same. Yes, all the values are still the same. Then you'll get the addition, the subtractions just in time. I can have... I could have this linked to this, but clearly there is no actual direction that it works this way. Okay, well I could make it match by having this only hold for 2 and have an extra space here. That would be equivalent to a holding of 3. And then here I can just make this a 1. So you get a subtraction like that. Yeah, okay, then you get this weird thing that happens. So eventually it will get subtracted and then subtracted again. So you get a consistent subtraction now. Consistent subtraction is good. Then this will do consistent addition. Now the final test is if this conveyor, which must start here and then be deactivated, does it work if I extended this to a cycle of 6? My guess is it probably won't, but let's see if it does. So it starts off working by pushing it down into this 4 cycle loop. If it then moves on to a 6 cycle loop, what happens? So now it starts moving on to a 6 cycle loop, right? This starts failing already. Whoa, oh, I need this to go down first, right? Okay, well I guess we'll wait for this first. Okay. So now this can write down here first, that's fine. And this will go. Okay, 2 things to take note at this point. You now have multiple things coming out, so the addition will no longer be smooth. Did I fix that in my first machine? Did I fix that issue? Where eventually things will stop smoothing out? Over a long enough period of time. Let's get rid of this and put a destructor here so I don't get distracted by it. Let's also do one here. Let's see. Over a long enough period of time, will things still match? Yes. And the reason why is it always takes the same number of steps to go from here to here as it is from here to here. Now that means the same has to occur in this sandbox that we are doing. Because here it takes 2 steps to get from here to here, but 4 steps to get from here to here because of the obstructor. That fails. So 2 is a magic number. Here, why does it work? Yeah, here, why does it work? It doesn't, it just barely works because... So yeah, okay, so that means then that if an extra set of 4 is added, okay, that might actually be a problem. Why couldn't I flip this? Oh, because this has to go down and turn. Right. Right, so what that means is that this thing cannot exist. Now I'm pretty sure there has to be some orientation of this that works. Like if I flip this 180 degree, no, if I flip this horizontally, that might work. Then this would go in the correct direction first. Okay, so let's just show that this doesn't work first. Because of the direction. Oops, wrong color. There you go. This entire thing can be shifted up by 1. And then this will be shifted over by 1. Which allows this to happen. Okay. So this will initially appear to work, except for the fact that this will go in the wrong direction. Right? Yeah. So my idea is now to flip this 180 degrees. Let's see if I can pull that off. Okay, so I'm gonna just put this in a corner. I will know that this is a length of 18? 18? Yeah, 18. Alright, let's flip this 180 degrees. So let's move this over. We'll have this go down into our loop. And this loop will be the one that is held for... the one that holds for 118 degrees. Up 80 degrees. What? The one that holds for... yeah. And then it will go this way to the right and then bounce back to the left later. The rest of the machine we should build first. This goes here. The loop can... as long as I just reverse the loop, it should be fine. It's like this. And then eventually we'll have this thing. That I'm pretty sure we'll have to point in the rightward direction. Because things will naturally turn this direction. So the duplicate has to point the other direction here. Alright, this looks like the machine we've had. This machine here I can just place and then I'll wire it later. And now I can create the machine that gave us a size of 18. This will be held for 21 before this B sensor works on both this conveyor and this conveyor. And then this can be destroyed. Yes, okay. So now you'll get an actual circular loop that works. And then in the end, when you reach the cycle of 6, what happens? Okay, we're gonna actually get that first. So the cycle of 6 starts occurring now. I need to go up, not that direction. Wait, yeah. Okay. Cycle of 6. So just attacks this. Ah, this will occur wrongly. You get this second bit that comes in, which by right the first bit should occur first. So there will be a slight issue there. Okay. So time of 6 just clearly doesn't work here. Which means that ours won't work. I'm pretty sure I could have just tested this on the actual machine itself. Yeah. So this will subtract 50 first. And then the second 50 will be subtracted next, which is bad. Isn't this gonna be the exact same for the... Isn't this gonna be the exact same for the... oops. For the... Okay. Is this gonna be the exact same issue for the, this one over here? No, because... yeah, because these will sync. There's no extra loop that has to go, so this will be on time. Then this will attack this next. Oh! This is a for loop, but everything here comes out in 2s. Is that why this needs to be a loop of exactly 32? If I made it a loop of 32, which takes twice as long... well, yeah, then this has to be held for a long amount of time. So 32 here is 6 by 6. Okay, let's just make this really long M shape. This should be held for twice as long. Well, almost twice as long. This should be held for twice as long as the value plus 1. So 64 minus 1 is 63. Held for 63. Okay. So this will be held for 63. Oh, you get additions already. I see why, because... so this should still be held for 31? Is there any reason why that's good? Yes, that's actually fine, because the reason why 31 worked before is because these wouldn't overlap. Now it doesn't even overlap because the track is long enough to hold them. I think the issue with this still... okay, wait, is this too long? This is 36, this is not 32. What the heck? Why am I doing 30? Why am I doing 36? I need to hold it for 32. So this is an 8x4. 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, an 8x4 loop. Okay, Okay, 8x4 loops is possible. See, that's exactly what the issue I was talking about. If it were too long, the value wouldn't work. Meaning, if this loop were trying to accommodate a 7, it wouldn't work. Whoa. Ah, now you get some weird additions. Again, it has to be co-prime. It can't be co-prime. The loop lengths. So, meaning that what? 18 was our best bet? 18 would be our best bet, but the loop wouldn't work. You get 8 items. What if I tried 7 items? What if I went 1 less than 7 times 4, which is 27? Wouldn't things would be released earlier? Actually, because this technically holds. What if it were 5? 5 is a problem, right? I think 7 wouldn't be a problem. 5 might be a problem. If it were 5, we were looking at 5 times 4 minus 1 is 19. If I'm holding this for 19, this would be let go suspiciously early, but would it let this go? No, which means that this will... It will work. It will work again. It will work again. So this does seem to work for any value actually, from 5 to 8, which is what from any number here from 5 to 8, which is what is given to us. The issue is, how do I convert this into something that produces numbers? If I made this machine gun, it would still turn this way. Would it turn this way regardless of value here? If I got rid of this, will it still turn? What? Oh, wrong number. If I got rid of the outputter, it will still turn right. So I can get rid of that, which means that I can put something there. Okay, I can maybe do the same thing. There's an addition here, there's a subtraction that goes on up there. The subtraction will kind of occur before the addition, it doesn't matter as long as they both occur before the output. The output now has to do something. I wish I could... I wish I could put a... no. The duplicator can occur actually somewhere else, I think. This subtractor doesn't have to be that far back, it can just be here actually. Yeah, which means the duplicator can occur like up here. And then output this way. With that, we can actually have this connect to another conveyor that first throws everything in the trash and then after that throws it in the output. And we'll only do so after this gets activated. Alright. So first throw everything in the trash, and only after the correcting has been done. It actually works out very well because the first one doesn't require the subtraction. Which means that the subtraction should actually come after the duplication. The first thing cannot be subtracted because the first output must include the 7 items. So this can happen. The output comes out, then the next one comes out. Yeah, and you get a consistent subtraction. Ooh. And this should work for any value from 5 to 8, which is our given number. That almost feels intended. Now, of course, a lot of things still have to happen. You have to have a lot of setup. Firstly, there must be a division here to make sure this occurs properly. I can save space by having the division happen up top and the destruction happen at the bottom, in which case I just have to flip the state of this. Now, this is still pretty far up though, so if I could maybe get this to point upwards instead. Yes. Then the conveyor can be here. First, destroy, and then the divisor can be here. Alright, I think we are basically good enough on our thing to actually start building the actual machine. So I just gotta make sure I know how to build this machine and how to make it work for anything. I'm gonna take a screenshot just in case I need it. Actually, I think I don't have my phone with me right now. I said a picture would be better because I wouldn't have to, you know, get out of the yeah, okay. Oh, it's fine. Let's actually can I copy this? Yes, I can. I can paste into this slot. Alright, so we have one that goes back to our original value if that doesn't work eventually. Another one that actually works. So alright, let's build this machine. Actually, we should have just gotten rid of the entire thing. Okay, the setup can always occur after this setup has been done. We basically want to set up a lot of values first before actually starting the machine. So this can be set to being semi-active and only starting after all the setup has been done. So yeah, it requires a lot of like building. It's gotta like calibrate the machine first. Calibrate, that's actually what we're doing, Okay. So it's a backward machine because of the direction. The backward machine points down and actually must go into a loop of 18, but 18 is actually big enough. I'm pretty sure we do have enough space to fit 18 here. Nothing needs to go below here, so honestly, we'll just put the loop down there. The conveyor here will first push downwards before getting deactivated, allowing things to go through. A writer will go up here and write to this value, which is subtracted. And then this will go in a loop. We actually don't need this direction here because we know the up will be here. A conveyor here will... no. A duplicator here will always occur. Things will always go right first, so the duplicator points upwards. The caller will have to be 2 away from the start of the loop. This now attaches to a conveyor which first puts it into a recycler, but afterwards moves it to the divisor, which will then put it into the output of 5. Alright, so yes, this number will give us what we need. This divisor will actually be useful, so we will first send this into a writer that will write into this divisor here. That's the first value we need. Whoa. The first value needs always a pure value itself. 2? No, 1. Just have it point down here. So this will write 7 onto the divisor. Okay. Inix needs to calibrate the obstructor that will hold the output value here. So an X will hold on to something for a certain value before activating both of these. And in fact, these are the only things that need to be connected to the B. So it actually can be really close. If I could simply hook them up to a wire, I can attach them here. And this can be where the B sensor is. So the X port will... I can put it here. The X port will hold something, and then that will be attached to the sensor. It can actually be a lot better if I simply... no, I need to do some calculation to this, right? Remember what we did? What we did here is we multiplied the required value by 4 and subtracted 1. Okay, we subtracted 1. The reason why is because it's a loop of 18. Sorry, not a loop of 18. That's not necessary to know. We know a loop in here is 4, and it takes 1 cycle to get from here to here. So including the 1 cycle plus however much this is holding will require exactly this number of steps plus 4 times that. No, from here to here is 4 plus the number of loops. So from here to the required number of loops is already exactly that number times 4. Here we include 1 step here, so to get from here to here is actually exactly 4 times the number minus 1. So it needs to first multiply by 4, subtract 1, and then be written down into here. Cool. This can be destroyed afterwards. Yeah. Then it needs to... is there anything else it needs to write? I don't think there's anything else it needs to write. It just needs to start the machine, which requires an activation of the exports. Actually, the exports can just be connected like this with a blue wire. Nothing else in this row will be affected by the B sensor, so I can just do it there. Oh wait, no, but there's an issue, right? Because because the B sensor doesn't activate this. This is activated by a caller. And in fact, we want them to occur at the same time. So in actuality, what we want to do is pull this back by 1 and then call it 1 earlier. That will make sure that we have space for both callers, but also make sure the thing is offset enough. Okay, got it. Then why don't we do the opposite way to save space? We pull this back by 1 and we call this 1 earlier. So I can save space here. I'll also use the red wire for consistency. Yeah. Like this. Like this. So it has to B sensor first, B sensor later, call this out earlier. Right? No, this has to be a Y port because it shouldn't come out first. It should only come out when it's called. So this does all the writing, it does all the setup. I need to subtract 1, my bad. Subtracts 1, writes it down here, so 27 is correct. It calls this and comes out this. So you get these to start at the exact same time? Yes. Ooh, what the heck? Ah, this can't be one apart, right? Because I remember, this to this must be 4 steps. So in fact, my attempt at efficiency actually just kills the entire machine. This has to be exactly 4 away, and that's something we cannot change. So this is the one that has to be away from it. So this has to be moved away. Also means that... Actually, I can make this a lot more efficient just by doing this. Yeah. Then I can attach them both to the same thing here. I can sort of do... Whoa, careful here. This sort of thing? Whoa! Okay, can you please... What am I pressing on accident? What? Anyway, some weird stuff going on. Okay, then this B sensor is the one that attaches to everything else. Yeah. And then this is 1 away, so this is the one that's called first. It's also a Y port, before I forget. It's the one I called first with a B sensor. And then the next one needs to be called is the caller. And I get destroyed. So it calls out, it produces all the correct values. It now calls this out followed by this, so you get them to start at the same time. You get this to be destroyed first. The first things will occur and will get added on. This will next hold the 7 items required before this gets in. The 7th item will be pushed out, which is this item. 427 is correct. 497 is 62 is subtracted from it. Oh, it's not? Oh, because I need a subtractor first. Ooh, this is too fast. Wait, what? Really? Ah, the 427 is pulled out first. The subtraction... What? The subtraction is written here, but I expected it to match with this space, which initially worked, but because we swapped around the spaces of these two, no longer works. The subtraction should come out first, right? Shouldn't it? Or are these two on different timers? These two might be on different timers. Oopsies. I feel like this thing should come out way earlier. This 427 is right. But this is late, by like 1 whole cycle, I think. Because now the 62 should activate this. But it activates 1 cycle late. So these are working on different cycles. This is 1 more. Ooh. Conundrum. A big conundrum. Okay, I can make it a lot simpler myself by simply making it so that, let's get rid of all the wires first. Making it so that this only activates this conveyor because it's right. And then another one only activates this conveyor, which happens like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this will be held for 1 turn, basically. And then this B will activate this conveyor. And then it will get this sent upwards. So what I'm doing now with this extra setup is this, because we know this is 1 cycle late. Wait, shouldn't this be early by 1? Now it's like 2 off, right? It's 2 whole cycles off. Wait, if it's 2 cycles off, then isn't the conveyor timing not even like an issue? It's not about the conveyor timing anymore. The conveyor timing only activates this conveyor, it doesn't change these. This has to be shorter by 4. But not exactly by 4, it's more like by 2. But if it's by 2, it can't hold 8 items if it's shorter by 2. It's not shorter by 2, it's shorter by 4. Wait, is it? This thing goes around 2 cycles. 2 loops before making it over. So it should be shorter by 2. Ooh, the timing is so off. See? So it doesn't matter. Yeah, this extra conveyor timing does not matter. Oh, this is most disturbing. Oops. This is very disturbing. It almost works, but like the math is just very slightly off. I think I may have done my calculations incorrectly. I'm pretty sure the idea is correct, just the math does not like to work. Cause also this has to be destroyed, I forget. Before we do anything about this. Yeah, see, this thing is slow. It's so slow. Does the math just not work out for that reason? Maybe the positioning of this doesn't work out. See, yeah, the subtraction should occur here. So like the subtraction is where the... Okay, then what if I put it so that the subtraction is there and the duplication is like here? Because I have space, right? I can do basically the exact same thing here. Oh, okay, that is gonna require so much shifting though. No! Ah! Shifting, of course. But the idea should still work the same. At least the wires seem to be a lot nicer to me now. Actually, the wires don't really make a difference. Okay, let's get rid of all of this. Actually, let's write this down first. I need space. It's fine, I have space along this line. Okay, so this comes up here. Then we get multiply by 4, subtract 1. Okay, let's get rid of all of these because these are what are going to be dependent on the positioning of these. So just subtract 4, subtract 1, write it onto something, write it onto that, up here, and then get thrown away. Oh, it seems to activate the things first. Okay, well I guess it's here then. So I can do this right there. It then needs to activate the Y has to come first. B sensor followed by collar and out. The Y sensor itself will be 1 away, and then the B sensor So this B sensor is for this Y port. There'll be a B sensor here for the conveyors, which are, I think, these two? Yeah. Okay, let's just do that. And then it should be outputted. So this writes all the necessary items first. Calls out the items to start at the same time. Yeah, okay, calls out the items to start at the same time. Now the subtraction, when does it occur? Is it at the right time? Whoa, is it? What? Oh. The right way, what? 60. Oh, why is that? Oh, the duplication should not be here. I doubled way too fast. Yeah, the duplication should not double the value. It should just send out one in the other direction. So does it send things out too fast? My question now. The 62 comes first, right? Ah, it does send it out too fast. Oof. So this should be one less. Okay, I can make that occur by subtracting 5 from here, and then this will occur basically 4 cycles faster because it was 1 and then now it's another 4 that's subtracted from here. Then I need to wait 4 cycles before calling this out again. So wait for 1, call this out. So now actually a counter does actually have some necessary okay, so yeah, the number should be right now. Now at the 23 mark, the 427, which is the correct thing to come out first, will come out first. The subtraction will then occur. The addition will then occur. Wait, oh, this needs to be written too. My god, I cannot do this. Like, my meticulousness is just not there. Activates this first, activates that. Subtraction occurs, 427 occurs first, subtraction occurs, addition then occurs, push out then occurs. Oh, what the heck? Wait, what? 60, oh wait, the divide by 7, wait, why did it divide by 7? $61, 63, oh, it rounds up? Wait, what? Nah, wait, hold on. No, I don't believe that. It's not... Okay, wait, why is it adding? The one to add for 427 is correct. It's rounded up. That is so annoying. We can always do some extra stuff here. How do we even round down? Like, what? Wait, okay, wait, actually, what is 443 divided by 7? Let me just do the math first. So I can quickly, 443 divided by 7 is 63.2? Wait, then why is this a 62? What? Wait, why are we, okay, we're adding, wait, the 60 is subtracted. Oh, this is the one that's supposed to be subtracted. I accidentally subtracted the wrong value. I subtracted what? What did I subtract? Wait, what? I subtracted the 62. Oh, the 60 is so far away. That's why it doesn't work. It works for 8, but not for 7. Okay, let me watch to find one that's an 8. The 8 works, right? Let's just test. The 8 works. $456. Uh-huh. The 8 works. The 7 does not work. Wait, the 8 doesn't work either? What the heck? The 8 works for 1 and then it stops working. Are these not subtracting the right things? Is that why? It's subtracting one every... It's subtracting the wrong things. These are alternating between... See, the first thing that comes out is this 60, then this 54, then this 51. But then you get some weird interchangeability, this 55. But isn't that fixed at the very end? The 60 comes out first. And the wrong number comes out first, obviously. Where's that? Wait, what? Sudden addition? Why does 7 work then? The 7 seems to work very well. Is it because 7 is an even number? I mean, we only work with 5 and 7 before, which is why it seems to work. If I worked with 6, would it not work anymore? No, there's also an addition. Also, what the heck is going on here? Look at that, it's correct for 1 turn. Probably by luck. Okay, timings are weird now. Why? Oh, what? Wait, something reactivates this. What reactive? Wait, no, nothing. Nothing reactivated that. It's just at some point stuff doesn't get pulled out. Like at this point you get a very cramped area and nothing gets pulled out. And this cramped area is what suffers. If there's a gap it's fine, but because of this cramped area that didn't exist, that you know, that's where the gap happens. Ooh, I can't fix that, can I? I have to work better. Okay, well, this is all the progress I'm willing to do for today. I think we have the main idea. If I could just refine this for a bit, then I could get something that work. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna work on this next time. Until now though, I am probably gonna just not work on this game for a bit. I'm tired of thinking. Yeah, anyway. We'll work on this mess next time. Until then, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye!